Let me stand by all existing protocols, my basically favorite sentence in Nigeria. Yes, and let me also excuse, because it's a bit unprepared Goodwill message, but since my institutions, the French Development Agency, have been involved in including more and more sport into development issues, it was kind of deemed compulsory to me to give a Goodwill message. I think this summit is timely because I don't know whether some of you noticed that this growing conversation around sport and sustainable development is taking place, I would say has been taking place for something like 10 years, not much than that. My institution started having a strong push into that direction from 2019, for instance. So it's not that old. We used to invest into sustainable development, infrastructure in the field of urban mobility, energy, all those kind of things. But the fact that we consider that we should invest more into sport is basically based on research. Because we noticed that having sport, investment in sport, help us achieve some key sustainable development goals. And that's the critical point I would like to highlight here. Gender equality, growth, jobs, all these kind of aspects can be achieved through sports as well. Having sport as an economic sector not only has a healthy behavior for people, is a key component to include in any conversation by now. And the reason why it is timely to me that we have this summit here in Nigeria is because not that far ago, just before the Olympics, there was an international summit in Paris, just before the Olympics, 2 days before the opening of the Olympics, where 60 head of state, head of international institutions were here to discuss sports as a development part of the, as a key element, key feature of the development agenda. And it's also important to notice that they came with a kind of Paris Agreement for sport and sustainable development, such as the Paris Agreement for climate. So it means that, yeah, the conversation is growing very, very fast. And they came out with 5 priorities in terms of actions. Education and employment. Don't only talk about infrastructure, as the title is here. We also need to make sure that we educate people around sports. We need to have professional coaches. We need to have facility managers. Otherwise, you know that what will happen for your infrastructure if it is not properly managed. Second field of action is health and nutrition, which is obvious when it comes to sport practice. Equality and inclusion, gender equality, social coherence, that's key as well. Financing and impact measurement. We clearly need to showcase the fact that sport is helping developing impacts as regard SDGs. And obviously, sustainability and legacy. Legacy, why legacy? Because we often see a lot of infrastructure growing up, being built for a specific event, an international competition, this kind of thing. What will happen to those infrastructures when the event is over? That's clearly what you need to think of. The way you have a legacy strategy of those infrastructure, the fact that you have a business model for those infrastructure to strive beyond the fact that they were built for a specific purpose. So these are key questions that I hope we're going to be able to discuss within these 2 days, and I will stop here by thanking you for listening to me.